let's talk about the golden handcuff trap that our employers and our companies set for us. And by golden handcuffs, I mean a lot of things. It could be your 401k match that your employer puts into your 401k, but only at one time out of the year. It could be year-end bonuses. It could be stock options. It could be retention bonuses. If your company got bought out and they want you to stay for 1, 2, 3 years. And probably one of the most common golden handcuffs is a pension. Now, only about 15% of private workers have pensions, but a lot of the public sector workers do have pensions, and they're super important. So between all of that, many of us are touched by the golden handcuff challenge. So let's talk about it. And I was a financial advisor for over 20 years. I saw it play out, and I want to talk about the trap. And the trap is it can change your life. It can change how you live your life because of this potential promise of golden handcuffs. And it's one thing if you're 2 years away from getting a major payout, a lump sum bonus, a pension, a nice, 30-year bonus, whatever it is. It's one thing if you're 2 years away from that. It's another thing if you're 4 or 5 years into your employment journey and you're giving up things that are important to you. Maybe you want to relocate. Maybe there's an interesting company you want to work for. And it can feel like if you're not careful, you're selling your dreams for the promise of something down the road. And unfortunately, these promises can and are broken all the time. So let's jump in and talk about it. I think one of the biggest risks, particularly for older employees, is the golden handcuff situation can formalize what I consider to be the four most dangerous words for somebody that otherwise would be seriously thinking about retiring. And those four words are just one more year. And we can just one more year ourselves out of our healthiest and most active years, the years we really could have enjoyed our retirement the most. And I don't want to see that happen to you. I want to see you squeeze all the juice out of the youth of your senior years. So the framework that I use is, first, does it make a financial difference in your life? Yes, it's nice if they say, hey, you're doing a great job at work. If you stay with us another 2 years, we're going to give you X dollars. Before you say yes to that, I want you to think about, does it really make a difference? Because we don't want to give up something that's very valuable, which is some of our youngest, healthiest, most active years where we have our full mental acuity. We don't want to give up those precious years if it doesn't move the needle for us financially. Now, if it does move the needle for you financially, absolutely give serious consideration to it. I would suggest that you work with a fiduciary financial advisor to see if it does make a financial difference for you. And if you're not going to do that, I'd suggest you use software to help you model this yourself, as opposed to using Excel or Google Sheets. Frankly, it takes a lot of time. It's just too easy to make a mistake. The software that I like is called Bolden. Bolden will help you both when you're saving, when you're thinking about retiring, and then also in retirement. So it can help you. And one of the nice things about Bolden is it has scenario planning for situations like this. I am an affiliate. If you decide you want to try to use Bolden, there's a free 2-week trial you can get by clicking on the link in the description, and you'll be supporting the channel. Okay. Another challenge with the golden handcuffs is, there's always something. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2, 3 years down the road, but it can be as simple as the company does the 401k match in May. And they pay out the year-end bonuses. They tell you what the bonus is going to be in December, but they may not pay it off until February. And then there might be something else at the end of the summer, another bonus. So there's always something in front of you that makes it easy to just say, just one more year. I don't want to quit now. I don't want to retire now because I want to get that 401k match. I want to get that bonus. And again, do the math and see if it moves the needle for you. But if it doesn't move the needle for you, think about what you're giving up. Okay. Now, I also wanna talk about pensions because pensions are they're not that common anymore, but they're super powerful if you have them, and before I jump into the details on pensions, one of the reasons I think pensions are so powerful is people feel a lot more comfortable spending that money that they know is coming in month after month after month, as opposed to having an investment account over here that, some months it does well, some months it doesn't do well. The stock market goes up, the stock market goes down. It's nice to have this dependable cash flow coming in. I use the analogy back when I was first working of my twice a month paycheck. It felt like I was standing on the shore of the river and these dollar bills were these paychecks were floating down twice a month. So if I made a mistake, I knew, I could make up next month. And I think in many ways, pensions are the same way. As a retirement advisor, I saw that when people had a pension, they were much more likely to spend that money. Let's say you get $3,000 a month in a pension. People were much more likely to spend that $3,000 a month than if they were taking 4% a year out, let's just say $900,000, so I have the same, $3,000 a month. That $3,000 a month from a retirement account, an investment account, and your $3,000 from the pension, those feel like very different things. So I don't want to minimize the power of a pension, even if you've only been at your company for 4 or 5 years. The way those people get to 28 years where they've got 2 more years to go is we all start day 1, right? So thinking through how important that is for you and what the sacrifices are. I live in a town now, I've relocated, a town outside of Seattle that has a lot of retired military people there. And there were many of them that, were starting to get burnt out after 14 years, after 16 years, and they're really glad that they stuck it out. On the other hand, there's people that said, I always wondered what would happen if I went to work for the private sector. Maybe they're fairly high up, and they were the equivalent of the military's CEOs or chief operating officer or chief financial officer, chief operating officer, whatever it is, but they never got the chance to to play in the private sector because they wanted that government pension. And you know what? They're super glad that they have that pension. But in the back of their mind, they kind of wonder, what if? I have the reverse of that. I went to college on a military scholarship. The military decided that they had too many officers and I did not have to serve. But I do have that what if, what would that path have been like? So when you look at a pension, I want you to be aware of there's a group called the Pension Rights Center, and they have an article they wrote, Changes to Retirement Plans, that talk about just because you have a retirement plan, and let's say you're 5 years in, you got another 25 years to go, it doesn't mean that the plan can't be changed, it can't be frozen, um, and sometimes, the pension's only as good as the company that is issuing it, and there is a, government entity, it's called the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corp, PBGC. It's it's not a government entity per se, but it kind of is. It's a pseudo-government entity. But I want to put that on your radar screen so that you go in with your eyes open and know what you're giving up to get those golden handcuffs. And if you found this video helpful, I have a video where I talk about maybe golden handcuffs that we're putting on ourselves the last 10, 15 years before we retire by focusing so much on reaching that retirement end game that we don't enjoy the journey. It's called 8 Things to Stop Doing in Your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy your journey to retirement. Thanks for watching this one. Bye-bye.